Detective Hercule Poirot? Ah, Chief Commissioner. On the contrary, it is a most convenient time. The safe passage of a painting? Tell me everything. If man was meant to travel the oceans in such conditions, he would surely have been given his own fins. A distraction is what one needs. Where is that blasted contact? How is one to prepare for an assignment if one does not have all of the required information? Very well. I shall wait no longer.
Beautiful, isn't she?
Pardon, monsieur?
The open water. There really is nothing quite like her.
When one suffers from the mal de mer, the beauty, as you say, is rather more a burden.
Forgive me, I just can't imagine being scared of the ocean in this day and age. The potential to see the world is open to even the ordinary man like us.
I can assure you, monsieur, it is not a matter of being scared. And as for ordinary...
I didn't mean to offend, mister.
I am...
Forgive me, madame.
No harm done. Accidents happen. My cigarette case, where is it?
I didn't see.
You thought I wouldn't notice? A young lady traveling alone. An easy target for you, I bet.
I'm sure the young lady would appreciate the help of two handsome strangers.
Oh. Ah. Huh. Aha. The young lady should not be left to gather her own things.
Oh dear, what a mess. Oh dear. Oh dear. What a...
The young lady should not be left to gather her own things. You are returning home?
I am. But how did you know that?
Besides your educated accent, the crest that adorns your cigarette case, it is of British origin.
Very observant. It's the crest of my family, and the case belonged to my mother. I take it everywhere with me. Miss Florence Farquhar, a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The pleasure is up.
That looks like everything. Except for my powder case.
Is this what you're looking for?
It is! Thank you, Miss...
Miss Babanin. Anastasia Babanin.
Anastasia. What a beautiful name.
It was my grandmother's.
Well, that's everything now. I can't thank you all enough for your...
I'd be happy to escort you. Here, I'll take your bag.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Anastasia, perhaps I can offer you a token of my gratitude in the bar later?
That would be lovely.
And you, Mr...
Detective Hercule Poirot, at your service.
A detective? I was not expecting to meet such a distinguished gentleman on...
I did not expect to meet someone of Russian descent on a ship between the great city of Antwerp and Dover.
I never mentioned where I was from either.
One did not have to. Anastasia, of Russian origin meaning resurrection.
And here was me thinking I was special.
Your knowledge of my heritage is most impressive.
And I'll take that as my cue to leave. Good evening.
It seems it's just us remaining.
I would very much like to hear stories from your homeland. Perhaps you would join me in the restaurant.
As charming as that would be, I'm feeling rather tired. It must be all the sea air.
Then I shall leave you to your slumber. Adieu. As much as I enjoyed the delights of the restaurant, I still found my mind drifting back to Mademoiselle Babagna. She really was quite charming. I have spent the first part of this excursion neglecting my duties. It's time to retrieve my notebook from the safe and begin. The combination was not a difficult one to remember. 1815, the Battle of Waterloo. Come now, little grey cells. The Battle of Waterloo took place in 1815. Et voilà. Time to... One cannot ignore such a blood-curdling...
My mother's cigarette case! It's gone! How could somebody do this?
Mademoiselle, I ask that you take a moment to calm.
You're a detective, of course! What luck!
As luck would have it, one of Belgium's finest. Now, I require as many details of the crime as you can offer.
I came to my cabin and began unpacking. I couldn't get the safe working, but the gentleman that helped me with my luggage showed me how it works. Afterwards, I went for a brief walk, and when I returned, the safe was open, and my cigarette case was gone.
We must consider the suspect list. Those who were aware of the cigarette case's existence.
That can only be those who were up on the deck when my luggage spilled. Miss Babagnin, the porter, yourself.
And your helpful stranger.
Yes, of course.
I ask that you gather them for me. And while you are absent, I shall begin my investigation in here, if Mademoiselle permits.
Whatever you need to do to find it.
Huh. Ah. Aha. Oh. Mm-hmm. Aha. Huh. Ah. Ah.
Mademoiselle, I thought you would be returning with a gentleman also.
The gentleman wanted to speak to the porter alone first.
I was unaware he is also a detective.
He's not a policeman. He works in insurance, I believe.
It appears I shall be spending my time chasing amateur detectives around the ship.
Mademoiselle, I would like to start with who had access to the safe combat.
No one. It was in a sealed envelope that was waiting for me when I arrived. I memorized it and threw the paper overboard. 4385. It's really not that difficult to remember.
A similar envelope was waiting for me upon my arrival. The date of the Battle of Waterloo, as I recall. Every safe, although identical, must have a different combination.
After the gentleman helped me with the safe, he left.
If the mysterious gentleman is behind the theft, he went to great lengths to hide his fingerprints, but did little to hide his movements in Mademoiselle Farquhar's cabin. There are many questions that require answers, answers I believe he may hold. One step closer to revealing the truth.
Mademoiselle Farquhar, I shall have your cigarette case returned to you before we reach the...
I hope so, Detective. You caught me, reading my own article.
I must say you raise a very interesting point. Art should have no social boundaries. Creativity is for all to enjoy.
Thank you for saying that. I wish everyone was as open-minded. Yes, I'm really quite excited about it.
You have been invited to a preview at the Royal Edward Gallery. A small world indeed.
Will you be in attendance? It's actually one of the reasons that I have been in Belgium. I was lucky enough to have a sneak peek at some of the pieces on show. I'll also be writing a follow-up article on the success of it. Fingers crossed!
Lucky indeed. I am sure it will be a great success. Merci, mademoiselle. That is...
Mademoiselle Babagnan, I'm sorry we must continue our conversation under these circumstances.
On the contrary, what fantastic luck that you are here. Now I get to see you at work. I'm afraid I've done very little, actually. After we parted ways, I went to my cabin. I had barely unpacked and I was fast asleep on the bed.
Alone?
That is a rather personal question, don't you think, Detective? I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. A poor attempt at a joke. Yes, I was alone.
There is no need to be nervous.
And then,
You have been most helpful, mademoiselle. I shall not take up any more of your time. Magnifique! A fingerprint.
you found one, Detective? Ah, how exciting! I suppose you'll want to take mine.
Magnifique!
You found one?
Huh.